So basically, Assassin's Creed Shadows sells a map unlock. So whenever a video game, this is my viewpoint, right? Is that whenever a video game has a system in it, and the system is designed in a way that you can pay to like do it faster, the odds are that the reason why that is, or sorry, the system as a baseline is designed with the enticement to pay for you to pay, right? So it's designed to be inconvenient in order to entice you to pay for the convenience, right? It's like the scouts and everything like that in the game. Why would you want this? It's so annoying. It's pay to win. Yeah, and so this is what happens with a lot of games. And it's a single player video game. So will it actually break? A lot of people are wondering, will it break 50,000 players? Yes, it will break 50,000 players. Tomorrow is going to be the weekend, and more people play video games on the weekend. No, it absolutely will. I know you guys might not want to hear this. You might be like, oh no, it's going to fail, it's going to fail. No, I think it will hit 50,000 players for sure. And so, I mean, we're talking about Saturday and Sunday for a boomer franchise. Like, Assassin's Creed is a boomer franchise. There are people who grew up with this that have gray beards now, okay? Those guys, you know what they have? It's not nice. They've got a job. And so, when are they going to have time to play the game? Well, they're going to have time to play, you know, on the weekend. That's it. And so that's it. That's the reason why I think it's going to grow a lot. It's going to pop off a lot. The numbers so far have been disappointing for me. Well, let's find out if they're actually disappointing, okay? They're disappointing. All right, so if you look right here, you can look at the graph, and the graph says that they're disappointing. Graph does not like this at all. They're done. I think they're going to have to sell their IPs. I do. I think they're going to have to restructure the company, maybe sell some of the IPs, and just restructure it completely. Like, there's no way, guys, and I know this might sound alarmist, there's no way that you can have this chart where you go from $20, and keep in mind, this wasn't just COVID, okay? This was COVID. This wasn't. This was before COVID. You go from $24 to $2. And I understand this is a representative sample of the European market, but the European market is the same trend. It's just a different number. So basically, a different ratio, I mean. So basically what's happening here, this company has lost over, let me see if I can find it. What is it here? Over 80%, more than that, really, over 90% of its share value, almost 90%, actually not 90, but almost 90% of its value in the last like 7 or 8 years. You don't do that and recover. You don't do that without a massive restructuring. And so I think that's what's going to end up happening with Ubisoft. I do. I know this game is getting a ton of hate, but you guys have to understand that this is Ubisoft's last chance to stay in business. So it's extra important that we all band together as a group and don't buy it. This is the review for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Check the like and dislike ratio. Oh my god! I got 6 unskippable ads?
It's wild that it took almost 20 years and dozens of games for the biggest stealth action series around to finally bend towards feudal Japan. Assassin's Creed Shadows makes the most of that theme, with a great pair of shinobi and samurai heroes sharing center stage that are fun to skulk through giant castles or wade into vicious battles with. Besides the setting, the bulk of the changes this time around focus on making smaller tweaks to well-established systems, such as less cluttered maps and skill trees, while also doubling down on things that really worked in 2023's Assassin's Creed Mirage. Okay. Like the more focused combat that accompanies its better-paced main quests. It's not a perfect reset, balances and missed opportunities abound, but I feel more confident than ever that Assassin's Creed could be back and here to stay.
Wow! And once this is done...
Like a river in the rainy season, Shadow's story overflows with cliches and tropes. But morally complex intersecting plots still keep the intrigue high, which is the same trick that made Assassin's Creed Valhalla's stories work when they did. Okay. I don't think I was particularly wowed by any of the writing on a regular basis, but there are some standout moments of tense reflection and curious happenings sprinkled throughout.
I just can't see how, like, I can't see how this came out a week ago. I could see how this came out 10 years ago. Like, Yasuke, unironically, is the only character in the game that I think looks visually good and visually well-designed. Like, a lot of the other characters don't really look that good. And, yeah, thanks, Obama. I guess so, right?
The typical Assassin's Creed conspiracy woven into it fits perfectly within the war-torn Sengoku period of Japan too, like a hidden blade snugly in its wrist sheath. It's still a bit too full of go here, do that quests as bridges between major moments, but Shadows is organized in a way that can be enjoyed in pieces and at your leisure without getting too lost between plot points. Almost
yeah,
like
a little bit.
How one might enjoy a good book.
You know what one of my favorite things to see is looking at the higher level monsters and the like guys that you're gonna have to fight, and they're just the same guys that you're fighting now, but instead of saying 11 next to their name, it says 30. That always really fills me with a tremendous amount of excitement to continue playing the game.
Who is among the last shinobi warriors of the Iga clan, a role thrust upon her by tragedy. That tragedy befell her in part by the hands of the charismatic Hulk Yasuke, who is a tireless warrior for justice and peace. When they begin working together, they are frequently each other's most reliable counsel, with different perspectives on the events going on around them.
Perhaps in that chance lies the seed of redemption for each of us.
In other words, they truly do balance one another. And while I don't think either one would win popularity contests against some of the other series stars like Ezio or Edward, together they serve as a bright light in the center of a largely dark tale of revenge.
Yeah, I don't know why they went with characters like that like people wouldn't really think are cool. Like I think Yasuke is kind of okay. Like Naoe, like, I really couldn't give less of a fuck, man.
Most of the missions in Shadows starts on the refreshingly intuitive objective board. Thematically, this approach matches the tone of using all of the information you gather to identify hidden members of a secret society trying to plunge Japan into chaos. Functionally, the way it organizes outstanding tasks and the people involved is far more useful than the old bulleted quest lists. Selecting a quest gave me a short list of clues to help discern where the objective was. Past Assassin's Creed games have tried versions of this before, but this one is the first one that I felt consistently made me look at my map and actually deduce where the spot in question might be.
I tried to do this like 2 times, and it was just annoying, and I quit doing it, and I just turned on the guided quest system. It's just an annoying system. Is it bad? It's not even that bad. I mean, like, it's a waste of it's basically like, why is there this extra... Is this extra step adding gameplay? To me, it's not. I get that some people might like it for whatever reason, but to me, it's just like an unnecessary complexity that just makes the game tedious.
Most of these undiscovered locations fall into a number of reliable categories, like castles you can infiltrate and attempt to steal special gear from.
But there's not a difference. Every castle, as far as I know, is the same. You kill the elites and then you loot the chest. I mean, fuck, New World had more variation than that. I feel like it's the same thing. I hate this too, by the way. Like, I'm sorry, but like a lot of these mini games are just like, in my opinion, they're like stupid and annoying and a waste of time. I don't want to do this. Just annoying. The best way that I can explain my frustration with stuff like this is that it feels a lot to me like it's kind of turning a game into QWOP, where like individual things that you have to do become problematic, but the introduction of these problematic elements that make them more complex doesn't actually add any gameplay. It just makes things more tedious, and it makes them take longer, and it makes you have to keep track of more things. It's like slop. Yeah, it's like slop, just like extra padding, and I just caveman brain. Well, the thing is that I really don't like that mindset, because that mindset is implying that it's somehow like you don't have to be a wizard to figure out where a quest objective is, right? I mean, you don't have to do that, but like, has it ever occurred to you that maybe it's caveman design? That like maybe having all of these extra steps and extra, you know, like basically, this is a good way to say it. It's kind of like how WoW did this a lot, where they would add friction into a system at the beginning and then take it out later on. Like, they would add in legendary gear in Legion, and then they wouldn't let you buy it until the very end of the expansion. It's like, why are you doing this? They would add in, like, you know, corruption vendors, but they were on a rotation. Why are they on a rotation? Who asked for this? And so there's always these problems, like conduit energy. Exactly. It's basically you're quapping your game. You're adding in tedium and you're adding in complexity and difficulty that doesn't actually improve the gameplay or make it any more interesting. It just creates a tedious subsystem that you have to use to interact with playing the game.
Between outings, I spent some time at the hideout. After collecting minerals, crops, and wood out in the world, you can use those resources to build and upgrade important buildings here that give you access to new assets. I spent the majority of my time at the forge managing my equipment, while other important buildings provide features that can be managed in places outside of the hideout, like the new summoning ability from the dojo, which let me call in help from certain allies I met during my adventure.
Damn, she really beating the fuck out of them.
I'm glad I didn't have to dote on this place very much, as I personally can't be bothered to decorate a homestead.
Yeah, it's
but
silly.
Those who can won't be disappointed by the amount of cosmetics available to find and buy.
This is just, like I said this before, like, this is just not, like, why you even put this in the game. Like, I feel like this is the reason why video games and AAA studios are unsustainable. Is that, like, you're animating and designing all of this content, and it's like, are people really buying the game for this content? Like, probably not, right? And I think if you compare this to something like Black Myth Wukong, where, like, everything in the game was, like, very much based off of, like, gameplay and the intent of design, it's cool. No, it's cool. I get that it's cool and it's nice, but nobody buys a game for this, and people aren't playing Assassin's Creed for this. And these video games have this scope creep where they just add in more and more systems, more and more little functionalities, and these things don't actually improve the gameplay. They don't actually make the game better. They're just little bullshit, like ADHD mechanisms in the video game. This is the reason why they need to have a store in the game, is that they're adding in these weird functions.
This version of 1500s Japan is a beautiful place. There's such a symphony of color over every hill and across every lake. Each season brings with it incredible landscapes, sometimes covered in the copper brown of autumn or entombed in deep white snow. I found the weather to be some of the best I'd ever experienced in an open world.
Yeah.
It was hard not to be moved watching powerful winds pick up and bring in rolling thunderstorms, especially when nature reacted to it all in real time, as flocks of birds take flight and ground critters scurry to find safety. And not for nothing, but in my dozens of hours in Shadows, I encountered remarkably few bugs for a game this size.
Have I encountered bugs? I've encountered bad AI. Like, there's a lot of bad AI and bad AI design, but, like, that's not a bug, it's just bad. This game,
the 40-hour main story revolves around masking and eliminating members of a deadly organization called the Shimbaku. Once you've chosen the target, their multi-mission arcs give you regular opportunities to handle the situation with either Yasuke's might or Naoe's stealth. While there are certainly scenarios where one is more useful than the other, in general, there are remarkably few quests where Naoe isn't better suited for the task at hand.
I'm not allowed.
That's not true. The fact is, Yasuke is just the better option in all cases. Better
if the Assassin's Creed playstyle is the combination of concepts.
The only thing that Naoe is good at is running away and hiding.
Naoe can do all of these competently, excelling at parkour and stealth in particular, while Yasuke can't climb very well or sneak around much due to his size and general lack of grace.
Yeah, he doesn't need to.
I meant to do that.
He is a devastating force in combat, but Naoe can simply sneak around most situations that Yasuke would cut his way through, solving them with so much less trouble. As much as I like Yasuke, he's far more limited and one-dimensional, with large parts of this game not quite designed to take advantage of his strengths. It's particularly disappointing because Shadows does find ways to tailor missions around both of their skills on occasion, usually in bigger, more pivotal, and more important battles where both heroes need to operate together to succeed. These special missions are separated into sections that allow you to choose which character to proceed with, changing what's asked of you depending on your choice. It's awesome, and made the more homogeneous space between these moments a real bummer.
Yeah, I never played a girl.
Is more challenging and thoughtful than in the past. Enemies, especially in groups, are more aggressive and tend to have solid defenses, both in that they block a lot, and also in that many of them are armored, essentially giving them another life bar. Effectively taking them down means having a solid defense of your own, dodging and deflecting their blows to make them vulnerable, and taking advantage before they recover, though the camera can really struggle to keep all of the action in frame.
Yeah, a little bit. I could say that's true.
Straightforward combat encounters really sing when playing as Yasuke, whose suite of weapons are all perfect for decimating enemies. Even outside of his toys, he's a juggernaut of a man, being able to literally run through walls and shake the earth with his blows.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Naoe is very fragile by comparison, and while
she
capable
sucks
of doing lots of damage when enemies are vulnerable, she gets overwhelmed easily by mobs, especially well-armored bruisers.
Like 2 mobs. Look at this.
On the flip side, Naoe is a menace when striking from the shadows or catching enemies unaware.
Oh, that was cool. Alright, to be fair, that was cool.
Being able to crawl and dodge while prone, as well as some returning ones like her eagle sense and the long missing double assassination, all of which add up to make Naoe one of the most robust assassins in the series.
Yeah, that's cool. Alright.
Enhancing your combat abilities is mercifully less tedious than Valhalla's skill constellation. Naoe and Yasuke have skill trees focused on their weapons and specialities, with every node feeling far more impactful than simple passive damage bonuses.
Well, there are passives, but there's not as many.
In small amounts. Gaining new abilities is obviously the most impactful, but some of the real hidden gems add new functionality to weapons, like being able to turn certain attacks with Naoe's chain sickle into grapples that let you pull enemies into obstacles or off of cliffs.
Yeah, that is cool.
Speaking of excess, Shadows takes a big step backwards from the work done around your inventory in Valhalla or Mirage. There are far too many pieces of randomized, color-tiered gear to pick up from fallen foes or earn as forgettable quest rewards that had no chance of making it into my rotation.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Some might do as last-minute stopgaps to keep your stats in line with the bad guys, but only until you find that next piece of legendary gear or earn enough resources to level up a piece you already like. The skills in legendary gear, like this armor that has a chance to negate range attacks entirely, are impactful in a way that the generic buffs that you get from the lower tiers of gear never even come close to.
Yeah, the legendary gear is so good. It's insanely good.
Assassin's Creed Shadows takes a flashing blade to the series' established norms, trimming them to a more precise form in lieu of chopping them down outright. Combat is aggressive and requires more intentional parrying and skill management than in the past. And exploring the gorgeous provinces of Sengoku period Japan is encouraged thanks to a revamped map that de-emphasizes collecting icons and checking off lists.
Yeah.
Naoe and Yasuke are well-realized and memorable protagonists, even though most of the story they drive follows pretty predictable paths. Both have unique playstyles that bolster each other's weaknesses, but they are ultimately imbalanced by the fact that you can make use of the stealth and exploration skills the Master Shinobi far more than the superhuman strength of the samurai. This isn't the Assassin's Creed that will change the minds of folks who have never connected with the series before.
I think that was one of the things that was really good, is that they added in a character for people like me that, like, I like more traditional Dark Souls action combat type games. I'm not really a big fan of stealth games. So I think the idea of adding in your traditional assassin character and also your John Creed, basically he just goes in there and kills everybody, you know, like Dark Souls style, I think that's great. You know, yeah, you want to have an Unga Bunga option as well. Yeah, Warriors Creed, exactly. And so it's good to have both options. Stupid take? Well, no, I don't think so, because, like, you already have, and by the way, if you're going to have one, you should definitely not accommodate me, because I'm not really the target audience for what this game is. But if you want to add in a character to bring in a more mainstream, like, action combat audience, I think the way that they did Shadows is a good way. Does that make sense?
Some of Shadow's parts provide a refreshing realignment that you should not skip.
An 8. So this game was as good as Monster Hunter Wilds, the game, because that was an 8 too. I was actually expecting them to give it a 9. To be honest with you, I was. But yeah, that's at least where I'm at. And what a joke of a quote review. Paid review. You know, I don't know if it's really a paid review. I just think that it's something that, you know, I don't know if I'd entirely agree with it. Ubisoft deserves an 8. Yeah, this is like, yeah, didn't they also give Wukong an 8 as well? Like, it's very, very weird why they're just giving all these games 8s randomly. Like, I don't get it at all. But, yeah, there it is, right? And they sure did. It's not an 8. I think it's like probably... I think it's like a 6 or a 7, in my opinion. I think it's a 6 or a 7 game. It's not like anything super crazy or anything like that, but, you know, it's decent, right? It's been decent. It's been fun to play. Like, I mean, overall, it's not amazing. It's not like a game I'm going to look back on and be like, man, like, I really enjoyed this a lot. It was amazing, but, you know, it was okay.